What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Hypocritical AF podcast. If this is your first time checking in or tuning in with the podcast, welcome and thank you very much. My name is Albert Fig. And for those returning, you guys know that the last 2 weeks, I would say maybe a week and a half, but rounding up to 2 weeks, I haven't put on an episode. And I hate that, especially if you know me, you know I do not like delaying things and I do not like pushing back things. But I'll say that, it's not a coincidence that I would say the last three, this one being, I would say the fourth, I think. Don't quote me on it, but something like that. I would say going towards like the four. The four have been like solo episodes. And there's nobody to blame but myself. There's no other excuses that I, could potentially bring up and to have. Essentially, I'm just not keeping up with my own word, which is staying consistent with everything. I haven't been true to that. And I'm holding myself accountable for that. There's different, factors of reasons of why, I may have not put out the episodes back to back like I had said I would. And then I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, I think I even said 1 week I was going to do 2. So I straight up did not follow through with that. And again, there's no excuses on my part or anything like that. I just had other stuff going on, I would say. But we're back, and this one is going to drop as normal Wednesday at 7 p.m. regular scheduling program. But I got to tell you, as good as it feels to be back right now and to be able to record and have the communication to talk right now to you guys right now, it also was a bit of a breather to get that breather, if that makes sense. To take the little hiatus or the little break or, whatever other word you want to use for it. Taking the time off actually was just like a bit of a sigh of relief, Actually, I don't know if a sigh of relief is the correct or right word to use, but I would say that it definitely was like a breather that I was just like a bit of a burden or something that, that I didn't have to necessarily do. So in that aspect, it was cool. But at the same time, I was eager to get back, and I definitely missed it. And yes, we back right now with another week of everything hypocritical, man. Close to 92, by the way. Close to episode 90. Close to that 100. That 100 episode or the 100th episode of the podcast is like creeping up real slow but fast at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Everything is moving in pieces. The summer is full effect. I'm talking about triple digits heat all week, but that has nothing to do with the podcast. But, the subs are going up. We in the 900 mark. Hey, I remember I was stuck in, 6 something, like struggling to get the 700. Now we're at the 900 mark. You feel me? Just less than 100 from 1,000. So thank y'all. I appreciate that. And if you're listening to the podcast and the audio and you have some type of Google or YouTube account, do me a favor. Do me a solid. Go to YouTube. Subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000. Wow, you feel me? I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs. So I'd appreciate that. But man, yeah, like I said, just good to be back. And oh man, I don't think I've ever done in this whole time frame of when this podcast started. I don't even think I've done this many solo episodes back to back to back because I like to schedule a guest on and of course life happens and not able to get it in tune and in sync with everything, and scheduling is tough with the summertime. And I've noticed too, everybody's schedule is kind of thrown off in the summertime. It's not just mine. Like for whatever reason, this summertime and the heat throws off everybody's schedule. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely throws a wrench into a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, we're just always pushing it through and keeping it through. I know last week too. What was up with last week? Last week I was supposed to record with someone too, and it kind of fell through plan wise and scheduling wise. Just like always, there's always something with that. It's never like an episode doesn't fall through with the person because they're just straight up like, nah, I don't want to do it anymore. Well, but it's really all just scheduling. You know what I'm saying? So learning to navigate through that, and then even it's like even to this day, I find myself still doing small little tweaks and small little changes, whether it be in scenery or background. I find myself like kind of adjusting to little things, and I'm still going with the flow for a lot of it. And I feel like there's definitely some other stuff I can do, visually. But obviously, they say audio, takes the priority for all this. And even the setup right now too, I gotta say, like, man, I'm recording this one late. It's like 11 o'clock at night. Everybody's asleep. And worked all day, was running a bunch of errands, put the kiddo to sleep. Homie's like getting on a good schedule. He has a little toddler bed now. Hey, growing up, you feel me? Slow down, kid. What? But he's growing up, and yeah, he's in a little toddler bed, and I just put his ass to sleep right now, which is a struggle. But parents, if you know, and if you're not a parent, bro, I'm sure you got some type of relative that has kids. I'm sure you've been around kids. I'm sure, you know what I'm saying. Or at a minimal, if you've never been around kids or haven't interacted with them like that, you see the shit in the movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can see all the stuff that toddlers do right there. So it's like, it's nothing new and it's nothing crazy. But having him around it's always a plus. So I know those times are few and far in between. So when I'm able to get him and put him to sleep like that, it's a good and wonderful feeling, especially when he's able to do it on his own and I don't have to baby him necessarily, even though I do like doing it. But it's like, I know I'd have to like step back. So those moments, like I said, they're few and far between, and I don't get a bunch of those. So I'm like taking advantage of those when I can. But anyway, okay. I was holding on onto some like stuff on my phone as far as some like pictures or videos or behind the scenes type of things, and I'm slowly releasing some of them. I felt that like I was waiting on something to go through and finish before I released some of the pictures and footages from my recent LA trip, well, a couple weeks ago now. But I'll say this too. So I went to Los Angeles initially to record an episode, right? And for whatever reason, it fell through. And not only did I want to go record an episode, but I wanted to use a specific studio that I've been a fan of. These two individuals, they have, come together and created something. And initially, they created something in the East Coast and then translated it, and overall, was able to be successful in that and expand it, and then bring it over here to the West Coast. So there are two individuals, I would say. So two individuals that I got to definitely give them their credit and their shouts outs, and give them all the praises they can. That is Alex Media. And y'all know him from, editing and producing for Flagrant 2. And then there's Wheezy, or Wheezy WTF. She's one half of the podcast Horrible Decisions. Together, they created a podcasting studio in Soho, New York, right? In that area. I'm not sure. I'm not from New York, so I don't know what exactly that is. But it's in New York, and it's four podcasters by podcasters, because they both, are in the podcast business. But to see them go from, like starting off as just regular as jobs and then doing podcasting and then juggling both of that, and then to eventually going to full-time podcasting and podcasters themselves, whether it be behind the camera, whether it be the editing process and producing, or whether it be now what they're doing is owning a business and, monetizing off of that shit, which is super fucking cool and motivating. And definitely have some aspirations of that. A motherfucker could wish, you know what I'm saying? But to see them go from, their backgrounds and, to be an avid listener of both and a fan of both of them on an individual level, on a business level, on a personal level, to see them create something, I want to say this was during the pandemic too, you know what I mean? And this is, I don't know if was in the height of the pandemic, like right, the height, but sometime during the pandemic, they were able to do that. and they built the podcast studio and created that business, WTF Media, in Soho, New York. After about, again, this is me generalizing and summarizing this. This isn't specifics, but after about a year or so, they were growing, becoming successful, have had a bunch of different clients that, we all know, Brilliant Idiots, Flagrant 2, sometimes. No, not Flagrant 2, right? No, yeah, Brilliant Idiots, Horrible Decisions, a bunch of different ones. I mean, there's a whole list of things we can go through, to see which ones that they've recorded out of. But then they had made an announcement earlier this year that they expanded to Hollywood, or Los Angeles. Because a lot of times people think like it's a lot easier just to say Hollywood, especially when things. It's a lot easier for people to say Los Angeles or the greater Los Angeles. So even though it's not LA necessarily and it's just Hollywood, I feel like it's a lot easier for people to just say Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're like out of state. A lot of people just consider SoCal like LA. You know what I'm saying? And not to get it twisted too, there is a Hollywood in Florida too. So it's like, come on now, but who cares about that, right? You feel me? It's just Florida. No big deal. But so when they announced that they were going to be opening up WTF Media Studios in Hollywood, I already knew off top. So I was like, oh, everything lined up perfect. And I was like, what a coincidence, because I wanted to go down to Los Angeles to record an episode. And just for future purposes too, it's not just for one specific individual or one reason why I'm going. It's LA, it's Hollywood, and down south there's a bunch of different people to like network with, to podcast with, who have all those means and aspirations of doing the same. So it's really simple to just cross pollinate and network together like that and set some stuff up for the future. Because a lot of times for the solo episodes, I take my equipment and I go, so it's a lot more convenient to be able to have that studio, so that everything's set up for you, and it's not just point and shoot, and it's not just like this stuff that you see right here. It's like professional audio and video recording, and now granted, it's not like they're the first ones to ever think about this and the first ones to ever, do this. There are other podcast studios. It's just that you can see the quality difference. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you watch a solo one like this, from what I'm buying, obviously it's not the most freaking, quality is not 1000% there, because I'm not on that pro level. Definitely would be beneficial and would enjoy it, but it's not the end all be all, right? So if you compare it to like, again, this is like the highest of the highs, but if you're comparing it to like the Joe Rogans of the world, you know what I mean? If you're comparing it to freaking whoever, solo episode, insert your favorite solo podcaster here, if you compare it to that, it's not the same, right? So that's what I found with seeing them and seeing the stuff that the services they offer, the equipment, the location, and overall just, supporting, because that's what it comes down to at the end, is just, getting the support for all that and supporting in ways that you can. So went down there, went to the spot, took a bunch of photos, some videos. Some of them I still haven't put out yet and everything, because nothing ended up happening. Not like that, but the plans didn't go through originally as planned. And like I said, I'm still hesitant to go in details. Just not yet, because, you never know what's going to happen. But, it was cool seeing that, in person, like being there and seeing all that, and just being like, man, they're doing the damn thing. So again, shouts out to Alex Media, shouts out to Wheezy. Y'all are crushing it. Keep doing you. I'm not even sure if you ever will see this or hear this, but keep doing you, and hella proud of y'all, even though I've never met y'all, but keep doing your thing. So yeah, LA, that was that's like, I would say, the beginning of like all this little, hesitance and delays and all this stuff, unfortunately. But every time I go to LA too, I always link up with my fam down there. And I don't mean like blood family. I mean my homie Mike, my homie Slim, and his family. Like every time I go, I always link up with them, and they always give me a place to stay. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though my intention is always to go kick it, I can get a hotel like anywhere. You know what I'm saying? That's easy. But they're always like, just stay here. So those little gestures, kindness, openness for those type of things, just knowing that, yeah, if something crazy were to happen and I'm not able to get a hotel, or if maybe I didn't plan things correctly, I guess in the back of my head, I know I have a fallback, and vice versa with them too. If every time they come up here, guaranteed they got a spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, Mike's been up here hella times, stayed in my spot. So shouts out Slim. Yeah. And so I always like, take advantage of the time that I go down there too. And it's not just, LA area and SoCal in general. Like, I've noticed that a lot of places that I go, that I drive to, whether it be for business or leisure, there is a lot of people that I know. So going into a city, I know that I'm never not going to be one. I'm not speaking for all of America, obviously. And I'm not saying every single city in California, but I'm saying 7 times out of 10, I know someone in that city, and I get to link up with them too and kick it. You know what I'm saying? So those are the type of things that I go do. So a lot of stuff is a win-win. If you go to a city and the person there, and you're there for work, or now you're just, trying to kick it and do stuff like that, it's a win-win. So you're knocking out 2 birds with 1 stone. And I love it because I be up and down California driving hella. Travel is a pain in the ass, like I said, especially when you're trying to take on these solos and everything. But it's the juice is definitely worth the squeeze. So I'm not one to complain about that. But yeah, so there's just so much stuff that that I have. Like, I've been doing more, and I said I was gonna do more of this, but take photos. You know what I'm saying? Because Reels is a thing that's they're Instagram's trying to push more for growth and everything. So a lot of times you'll see if you notice too, at the beginning, I'm still learning all this social media stuff. I'm sure a lot of you are as well. But at the beginning, I was making clips or small little posts and everything like that. And I didn't put really too much, not that it was too much emphasis, but I was still learning the editing portion of it, because all the little clips and stuff like that, I do by myself. So if you are a fan of the show, you know that I've said that shit way too many times already, and I'm pretty sure you got it. But if you're brand new and you're listening to the first time, yeah, I do everything. So, and that's the editing, the clips, the highlights, and everything that you see. That's all done by me. So at the beginning of this, there wasn't that much detail in it, and it was pretty bland, and it was nothing crazy. But gradually, as it's continued, I learned more about editing and which things to clip and what hits and what doesn't, and following the quote unquote, when they say the algorithm, which I don't know if I'm 100% agreeing with that. I feel like it's just put the shit out, and if it's good, it's good. If it don't, it don't. And I'm sure there's favorable things you can use, whether it be a hashtag, you know what I'm saying, or a certain keyword that they listen to. So I'm sure there's that, and I'm sure it'll trigger something, and then you can shoot up for a bunch of stuff. But learning those type of things, and then knowing about what they're pushing, and yeah, it's a process for sure, and the clips. What was I going with this? Oh, the clips. So yeah, doing everything and the clips, it's just, I'm learning to take more photos and take more pictures, and just to have on your phone. You don't even necessarily have to post them, but you can just have on your phone for later, post later and stuff like that. So that's what I've been doing more, and I'm getting, I would say, selfishly speaking, I would say that I am getting better at making those reels. Again, this is selfishly speaking and everything. But I just made a recent one too. This one was a show locally here in Sacramento. So this past weekend, over the weekend, I would say, podcast alum, podcast fam, one of the upcoming artists right now, specifically out of Bay Area, but I would say out of Northern California in general. One of my favorite artists personally is LaRussell, from Vallejo. And if you don't know LaRussell, just YouTube him, look up his music. I'm sure you will find that you will like it and that it's genuine. You know what I'm saying? Really fucking good. And, he's been on the podcast before, thankfully, and just to be able to interact with them, to be able to meet him, to be able to set up conversations with him, to be able to dap him up and give him a hug, and to be able to, at one point I went to his house to go pick up merch and everything directly from him. So to be able to go to his crib and then him come to my crib, like I said, I consider that podcast fam. I think it'd be a stretch. I'm not gonna lie and sit here and be like, yo, we're homies and lie and shit about stuff like that. Small talks here and there on social media doesn't make you necessarily bros and stuff like that. So I don't want to go that far and paint that picture and everything like that. But I'm just a fan, genuinely. And he came out here to Sacramento. He had a show out here called the Hometown Hero Tour. Where the idea of so it's like a 2-part, not necessarily a 2-part thing, but what he's doing is he's doing a show at the crib, like 3 shows at his crib, and then he picked like 4 different locations for places and people that want to host for him. You know what I'm saying? So this is like game changing type of thing, because as far as I know, and I could be wrong, and y'all let me know right now, but as far as I know, I can't think of anybody, artists, whether they be independent or signed or at that level, that's doing what he's doing. And I'll take it a step further more. It's not like he's just being like, here's a show, you know what I'm saying? Like, here's the show here. He built with his own money, built up a stage in his backyard, you know what I'm saying? And had the people who want to make offers to get in, it's pay what you want, to go to his house where he genuinely lives, watch the show, and not just watch the show with him, but other artists, that are with good company, or just the homies, you know what I'm saying? Like, who else that's doing all that accumulatively is doing all that? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, unless I'm wrong, I can't think of anybody, So that's just for his crib. And then was giving the opportunity to people to be able to hey, he was saying if you have a spot that, we could potentially host, shoot an offer, you know what I'm saying? And Sacramento, thankfully, was one of them. So it was at the spot called Estate Farms off of Excelsior Road. It's near, I would say Wilton, Vineyard, South Sac, Outgrove. It's I don't know if it's a specific area, but more or less out there, kind of like boonies, you know what I'm saying? But it's the Estate Farms. And that was my first time being there. And I went out with the homie Will, the homie Juno, again, podcast fams, podcast alums themselves. And yeah, we RSVP'd. We shot out there, we paid whatever the hell we want. And I was going to do that shit regardless. You know what I'm saying? Whether they came or not, I wanted to go. I just wanted to go show support, you know what I mean? Because that's love right there. And yeah, the show, it was 105 degrees, so it definitely wasn't cool. But we were sweating, we were staying hydrated. And it was a dope little show, man. We got to see Tessie perform. Tieta was in there a little bit. You feel me? He brought, and I apologize. I can't remember their names, but he brought 2 local artists from the Sacramento area that are performing. The reason why I didn't get the names and everything is because I got there we were gone in and out of the car, you know what I'm saying, to hydrate and to recoup and recess. And, while we were going in and out, they had been performing. And so we missed a big portion of it, maybe caught the very end before LaRussell hopped on. So it was dope, man. It was really cool to see. And, we got to kick, like, not even kick it, but I got to go reach out and say what's up to him and just let him know that, I came to show support and everything. Took a photo and everything, but that's never really the intention for it. It was really just to, like I said, to show support. But we got some good footage behind that one and everything, and it was a good show. And that's just for this month, yo. Like, I got this upcoming show coming in August. And it's not me. I'm definitely not performing. I'm not a performer. I do not make music, and I feel like I would suck at it. But I'm talking about like going to shows, So I'm excited for this upcoming show that's going to be coming in August. I feel like I just said that twice, and that's okay because this shit is all edited. Leave it in. Leave it in. We're good. We're good. This has nothing to do with shows, but it's music. So I'll just, go off of that. Well, music, man. Music, what's been in my rotation lately? Okay, so if you don't know much about me, know one thing, that I enjoy music. That's one thing you should know. I am a music connoisseur, right? Like I take in a lot of music. I listen to a lot of music. I listen to a lot of podcasts as well. But I have like a vast majority of like different genres of music, and I don't just stick to one type. I enjoy discovering new music. I love listening to new music. I love it when music comes out and it's like, do you get sleep? Do you don't go to sleep? I love it when music comes out and you're like, should I wake up earlier just so I can enjoy the music? I love it when music comes out and it reaches your expectations, but I also love it when the music comes out and initially you don't know how to react to it and you think it doesn't reach your expectations, but after the third listen, you finally agree to like it. I like listening to music on the speakers. I like listening to music on headphones. I like listening to music in the shower. I like listening to music when I cook, when I insert naughty stuff. I enjoy music. So there's constantly different, if y'all saw my Spotify daily mix 1, 2, and 3, it would probably like freak you out a bit because of how it ranges. Now, mind you, I have a son too, so there's definitely some blippy lullabies and weird train track songs that he just in the moment is all about right now, which I have no idea, but it's been like that. So whatever little man wants, but you'll get some of that sprinkled in there. But my music just goes like all over the place, but I feel like it's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to just be boxed into just one specific genre of music. Expand your shit, bro. Go listen to different types of music. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I can't get into country like that. So I probably sound like a hypocrite. I just can't. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I mean, there's like a few, 2, 3 songs I could probably pick up to if I listen to it and then like kind of pick apart every other word or like catch every other phrase. You know what I'm saying? Something with the tractor and the Bud Lights and the hoedown. You know what I'm saying? Tractors, trucks, whiskey, those type of things. I'm sure like there's a few songs that I'll catch, but I just don't. I've never really got into it. It just wasn't my thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. So maybe that's not in my rotation. You definitely won't see too much of that, and I'm not opposed to it. Just depends on the mood I am. Do you feel me? Depends on the mood I am. Am I sober? Do I have to be sober when I listen to it? I feel like when you're listening to country, you're either driving far, going to go pick up beer, you either have beer on you, or you're already drunk from a breakup. Now, I don't want to put that stereotypes out there. I don't. But facts. You know what I'm saying? But facts at the same time. So, I don't know. You tell me if I'm wrong. Country folk. Which one is which one is that this country, is that the square dance? Which one is the one where they do the thing where everybody lines up and they have their kind of hands in the hips and they go forward and then they go back and then they like do the 180 and like turn? What is that? Is that a square dance? Or is that the hoop? What is that? I don't know what it is, but that shit y'all be doing. Here's a side story on that one, right? So I remember one time, like if you're from the Central Valley, San Luis Obispo area, that county type thing, there's a spot called the Grad, right? And I want to say it's in I want to say the grad is in. It's either Paso or Slow. I want to say it's San Luis Obispo. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's San Luis Obispo. There's a spot called the grad, right? Now I thought, because it was 18 and up, right? I thought the grad was. I thought that was it. I thought that the grad was just there. It turns out there's a grad in like Dixon or some shit like that, right out here in Sacramento. But we went to a grad up here. And I remember I was just like, oh shit, I thought it was just down south, or in the, San Luis Obispo. And we went to this shit. And I remember I was like, okay, this is cool. It was kind of light. It was nothing crazy. But ironically, everybody in there had cowboy hats and cowboy boots. So it must have been country night because I felt hella out of place. You know what I'm saying? Me, Mexican, dressed how, insert whatever judgmental shit you want to put as I'm being judgmental currently. But everybody else in there, like I said, had them cowboy boots and the hat on, a 10-gallon, and they started to do the dance that I'm stuck on, square dance. I'm sure I don't know what it is, but the one with the where they do the fronts, the 2 steps front, 2 steps back, and it's like it's in sync. It's kind of like Thriller mixed with like they need to go to the bathroom. They're just left, right, up, down. It's like they're making the cross. I don't know what they're doing. They're spelling some shit. Is it the Illuminati? I don't know. I just can't dig it, bro, and I can't do it, and I don't know how to do it. But y'all do that shit like to par, to T. You know what I'm saying? So shouts out to I'm assuming it is square dance, but shouts out to y'all doing that. I can't do it. We get this. We get this dance. I'm not doing no fucking square dance, bro. But yeah, so the grad, yeah, crazy good times. But anyway, yeah. So I this upcoming week too, I got a scheduled recording on Wednesday. I got a scheduled recording on Friday. I'm hoping that I'm able to knock out those 2. So basically, it's gonna be 3 recordings this week that'll going out for the remainder of this month. But outside of all that, I feel like I never put a cap on the music part of it. What's been in my rotation, I apologize for that. But lately, like it's kind of been the same stuff. Really, I'm still bumping the Kendrick's album. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Post Malone, I'm on that. The 12 karat toothcake, something like that. It's surprisingly, I've been been bumping that one. I've been going back to a lot of ever since Usher put out the NPR Tiny Desk thing. I've been bumping his stuff lately a lot more. I've been going back to Gold Link, playing like his greatest hits. His features are underrated, yo. I was looking at a bunch of Gold Link music, like features wise, underrated, bro. Underrated. Go back, like if you can, on Spotify or YouTube or Apple Music or whatever. Just type in Gold Link, like songs that he's features on. Bro. Yeah, I was like literally going through all that and kind of like nitpicking a bunch of things, because I was like, oh, he's got some bangers for sure, slept on bangers. You know what I'm saying? Slept on bangers. So that one's been on rotation. Corn has been on my rotation a lot. Red Hot Chili Peppers. I mean, Californication's got to be top 5 easily. I don't know about y'all, but for me, top 5 easily. Those questions when people say like, "Yo, what's one album you could play through with no skips?" For me, I would say top 5. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Californication would definitely be one of them. Bro, what are you gonna play? Yo, what are you gonna square dance? What are you gonna fucking square dance on an island by yourself? That shit don't even look good. You know what I'm saying? Californication though, that shit will slap. You know what I'm saying? It's good to be back, yo. It's good to be back. I am tired. I'm not gonna lie. Yo, it's damn near midnight and I'm still up, and I gotta get up like at 4:45. So coffee has been great to me. and I'm definitely going to drink it tomorrow. As always, iced coffee over hot coffee. Iced coffee over hot coffee. But sometimes I'll get hot. It's weird. I'll do like Monday through Friday, I'll get iced coffee or cold coffee. It doesn't have to be ice. I just get, nitro cold brews. On the weekends, I'll get hot coffee. So I switch it up. I'm not anti-hot coffee. I just don't get scorching hot, but iced coffee over hot coffees. That's just me. No cream, no sugar. None of that artificial shit. None of that scissor. None of that caramel drizzle. None of that whip. Just get that shit straight. All right. Anyway, coffee in the morning. And thank y'all for tuning in. And if you haven't already subscribed to everything, thank you for putting up with all my BS, And if you do square dance or do whatever, hey, man, do your thing. It just looks weird. I'm just saying it. It just looks weird. Okay? Stay tuned for the next episodes. I'm tired of shit. Y'all stay safe. Peace.